All right, so first I just want to take a quick minute to go through some of the things I've been interested in Kickstarter. Just kind of give you guys a heads up at the time of this recording. This is the time, but a lot of these are going away very soon. First, we got this Deadlands Blood Drive Kickstarter, which ends really soon if you're a big fan of Deadlands. I haven't supported it yet because I pretty much always wait till the last minute on everything unless I jump in on an early bird special. Yeah, I'll probably end up jumping on this too. Haven't been fortunate enough to actually run Deadlands or even play Deadlands yet. I've done a Deadlands Noir one shot, but man, I am looking forward to playing this new Deadlands. Got the different tiers on the side there. Back to our projects, we also have the Secret Files of Section D, which this also looks pretty cool. Kind of looks similar to, you're an intelligence agency, almost similar to like Men in Black style, but kind of mix in monsters and stuff like that. So, almost like modern day Rippers to some degree. The monsters exist, other people don't. And then lastly, just to kind of mix it up a little bit, we've got some handcrafted stone dice. And these look really nice. We've got a couple different color options here. You see you got the arcane blue. Really slick looking. Now we're going to talk about some macro level gaming. By macro level gaming, typically we mean things that are a little bit more narrative and involves less steps. Another option that you have are interludes. Interludes can just happen organically. I've had mixed results personally with my players with interludes, especially, for example, let's say a group is in a car or a wagon and they're on their way to the next place that they need to get to. In addition to you rolling on a travel encounter table, there's also the interludes table. On this interludes table, it'll give you a couple options in terms of what are some things that maybe they could talk about and then reward them with a Benny. I see two sides to this. On one side, maybe the player feels like it's a little bit forced into the situation and they would prefer to organically just speak on something. But on the other side of things, maybe the player doesn't even register in their head that they have this opportunity. Maybe they are just thinking that, oh, well, we're in the car, I just want to get going from point A to point B to the next spot. But you're telling me that I have an opportunity to go into the backstory of my character? And this is GM food right here too. So maybe during this interlude, you have to talk about something tragic that happened in your past that maybe people aren't aware of. Maybe the main character lost their mother at a very young age, and maybe it's a supernatural East Texas University style game. There's a good chance that if they're doing things like seances and stuff, the mother might become involved at some point in some way. That's GM food right there. So you best believe if your players are throwing those hooks out there, the GM should be biting on them just like the players should be biting on the GM's hooks. In addition to the interludes, we have mass battles. Yeah, so with the mass battles rules, this is so cool. I'm still working on wrapping my head around it and portraying it in a way that is easily digestible to players that are resistant to this macro level style of gaming. With the mass battle rules, there are tokens and roles that are involved, but there's a lot of narration that's happening. In between each one of these roles, this is about 2 hours worth of time. We're not talking like 6 seconds like tactical combat. That is another good way of looking at micro versus macro. How much time is passing? Duh. So yeah, this is huge because this takes the admirals and the generals and the battle commanders in your party, especially if it's like a Weird Wars type game. If it's East Texas University, it might not come up as much. This is putting that character in the spotlight. Cool moment for them, and they are making decisions in terms of what troops should be going where and what they should be doing. Feel free to riff back and forth with that player. Meanwhile, the other players, they are still very important because similar to like creative combat, when they are fighting in this battle, they might go full Legolas in this situation, riding mammoths, shooting them, shooting all the goblins, decimating everything. And that's because they had a really good roll. Feel free to throw in those modifiers as needed. If they get an 8, which is a success with a raise, they have their own little battle effects table. The Army of One example, you're going to have force tokens on either side, and this character was powerful enough to actually remove an entire force token, which could represent hundreds of troops. There's a lot of like abstraction in macro level mechanics, and this is a perfect example. Let's say, just for simple math, let's say the undead army that is marching forward towards the castle that you are defending has 10,000 troops, and you have 5,000 troops. So it's gonna be one hell of a fight. So you have 5 tokens, they have 10 tokens. In addition to your allies helping, in addition to the commander helping, the commander is going to be making a battle roll that's going to kind of change the difference in the battle tokens. And whoever lost a battle token, they have to then make morale rolls. So this is like very cool. It's there's a decent amount of mechanics there. Feel free to use as much or as little as what makes it fluid in your game. In addition to the mass battles, we spoke about the social conflicts, which is like the micro level face character highlight reel. So social conflicts is your face character. That's kind of what they're built for. They're built for that situation. And that's at the micro level. At the macro level, there's another one. It's networking. And this is going to be the equivalent of, let's say you're in the Lankmar setting, and you're a character that's really good at getting information. Maybe you're kind of working your way through the alleys, and you are speaking to maybe some of the homeless people that are living outside the docks. Maybe they're your eyes and ears. You are speaking to other like Thieves Guild members. You're talking to maybe some of the fences and stuff to get additional information about an incoming shipment that's coming into the docks pretty soon. To simulate this, this is going to be either a persuasion roll or an intimidation roll. So now you can go to your highlight reel of like Law and Order SVU, where you've got one cop that's coming in and talking to the snitches, and maybe the snitches give them information willingly as they go to, maybe they talk to a snitch, maybe they talk to a witness, maybe they talk to somebody who knows a person that was involved, and they're going to be using persuasion. They might have to throw some money their way, whatever they got to do. And that one roll is going to simulate hours of them talking to people. Then in comes Ice-T with the intimidation, where he also goes to the snitches, and maybe the snitch doesn't really want to give them any information just yet, but Ice-T knows just where to push. But if you fail that roll, there's side effects to that as well. So yeah, another great opportunity to play with the passage of time. Next we have quick encounters. Quick encounters are the quintessential option for macro level. Not everything needs to be represented at 100% magnification. So when I say that, you really want to zoom into the parts that are important to your story and to your campaign, and what is, especially for Savage Worlds, fast, furious, and fun. Can't be fast, furious, and fun if you are at 100% magnification on everything. So with that said, the quick encounters, this is going to not only help you there, but also help you with your time management. Maybe there's things that you want to cover, and it can be handled with a single roll. There's a goblin horde that comes rushing out of a cave, and they've fought goblins before. They're at the point where they're just destroying goblins left and right. He's killing 3 goblins with 1 arrow at this point. So maybe Legolas is going to make one shooting roll. One shooting roll that is going to encompass this entire situation, and depending on what the roll is, again, your target number is a 4, there might be modifiers involved, and this is going to tell a story. This is going to be a narrative in terms of what's going to happen. Let's say Legolas sucks. Legolas rolls a 2 and a 1, no bennies left. So at this point, now maybe your party, they're retreating. So this quick encounter that started with a fight is now potentially a quick encounter with a chase, a foot chase. You can use the chase rules, but you don't have to. You have the option of a quick encounter. If it's a foot chase, athletics will be the skill of choice. Maybe the goblin horde is right behind you, and you get to an encampment. This encampment has defensive structures. You have nowhere else to go. Maybe you go to the gate, and now someone's at the gate and they do not want to let you in because you're Legolas and they hate elves. So you then have an additional quick encounter. You now have the opportunity to persuade them to let you in. And you can play with this stuff. Don't feel like you have to, this is just an example of quick encounter to quick encounter to quick encounter. But if you feel like this is worthy of 100% magnification, feel free to zoom in with 100% tactical combat or a 100% magnification for the social conflict. Or you can zoom out to the quick encounter. That's the beauty of this, is that you're constantly staying fast, furious, and fun. This is going to be pretty common for most games, so I'm not going to go into a ton of detail. But travel is going to be a macro level game mechanic. Most systems have no issue zooming in and zooming out with this because nobody wants to role play a trip that lasts 20 days for every day. There might be some random encounters that are rolled there, and that might result in some tactical combat. You could use a quick encounter, you could use a dramatic task, whatever you gotta do. You would want to customize your tables to your setting a little bit better than what's here. It's a little bit more general. If you even feel the need to have a table, right? It just lets you know that this suit is going to be in relation to the potential treasure you found something, whereas this suit is going to be in relation to a fight. Yeah, spades are enemies, so maybe the 2 of spades in your game, because it is East Texas University, maybe a 2 is zombies. Maybe a 3 is a vampire. Maybe a 10 is a werewolf. Maybe an ace is a lich. Whatever the situation might be. Oh God, a lich in East Texas University would be terrifying. And then there's also the wealth system. So if you're playing 50 Fathoms, wealth might be a very important part of what you're doing. So maybe you want to count every single pieces of 8 or piece of 8 in your game because you're pirates and you want to get every piece of treasure that you can. Or if it's something where maybe you are superheroes and the wealth in that game is not as important, maybe you have average wealth, which would be a D6 in Savage Worlds. If it's below, it would be a D4. If it's above average, it would be a D8. When you buy things, you would make that roll, target number's 4, and then you would lower the die type as needed. So let's say, for example, you bought something, you rolled your D6, you purchased it, you no longer have average wealth, you now have below average wealth because you made that purchase. There is also a PDF out there. I'm probably going to link this down below too. I don't know if I'm going to get to a full review on this, but there is advanced wealth rules as well if you want to kind of make it a little bit more verbose while still kind of staying abstract. All right, everybody, that's going to cover today's topic, which is going to be your micro versus your macro gameplay mechanics that you have at your disposal. I challenge you to not just use it in Savage Worlds, but in any of your games. Something like Blades in the Dark, for example, is well equipped for a lot of macro level gameplay mechanics. Dungeons and Dragons is very well equipped for a lot of micro level game mechanics. you don't have to be a slave to either one of those. You can play with the mechanics as needed for what works for your game. So my name is Glenford. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked the video, hit the like button down below. If you love the video, hit the subscribe button. And if you can't live without it, hit that notification bell. Got a whole lot more RPG Savage Worlds content coming at you. Let me know down in the comments below. My name's Glenford, signing out.
Mm-hmm.